Welcome again to our last section. I'm going to share my screen with you again. Here we go. And now we'll be ready to start. Okay. Great. So, hello again. Let's continue now with this third and last section of this foundational unit of our course, La ficción narrativa y la transformación social, de los relatos medievales al storytelling actual. As you hope by now remember, I'm Liliana Aristimuño, and I hope that you also remember that you can contact me with comments, questions, or any of these to my two emails, any of the two emails that I'm sharing with you in this slide. Great. So this last section of our unit will be brief, but it will hopefully show you how we can use these tools of analysis and description that we have worked with in section 1 and 2 to access and interpret the symbolic articulation of between surface and deeper meanings. Now, we've seen in section 2 that in order to understand the key emotional function of narratives and storytelling, we need to understand different patterns, to do different things as storytellers. And one of these is to be able to share and to shunt, and let's say to shift and move our interpretation from patterns that can be understood by looking at the language that the storyteller is using and to share the more concrete experiences. That is to say, the what, the who, the how, the where the characters are and the story is happening. And to see how this is connected and helps us to create and understand more abstract, deeper meanings that have a social impact on our readers and our audiences. So how can we access these deeper meanings? Well, the first step may lie in understanding and describing fictional narratives and storytelling as instances of verbal art. An SFL linguist, Ruqayya Hassan, developed a model to guide our understanding of how first-order meanings, that is to say, this what, this who, this where, and of our semiotic system of language, yes, here, can be seen to be repatterned, reinterpreted in the function of symbolic articulation of the literary text's theme. So, reinterpreted to get to this semiotic system of verbal art, which includes the theme. Yeah, and we'll see a little bit more with an example in a minute. What Hassan calls a model of double articulation. Now, in Miller's words, an author that I shared with you on Moodle as a file on Moodle, and I invite you to read if you're interested in this. The semiotic system of language is the SFL multiple coding system that is made up of levels, as we've seen, of strata. And we can see here that we have the semantics or the meanings that are realized by choices in the lexicogrammar, that is to say, the different wordings that we choose, that at the same time are realized by choices in the phonology or the soundings, as we saw before, which can also be accompanied and combined with different choices in the facial configurations that we have. We have seen an introduction of how this works for the expression of emotion in this unit. But how do we go from the language meanings in a text to the deeper meanings we interpret in literature? Like, for example, in Cinderella's case, how do we go from the emotions that are coupled with the characters to the theme of associating, for example, a key theme in Cinderella, that associates external beauty with internal kindness. Now, sorry. Yes, sorry about that. So we can read a little bit more about this double articulation and this model to interpret literature in Miller 2021, which also guides you to many more other readings. So I invite you to have a look at that if you're interested. Now, how can we access these deeper meanings? In this presentation, I suggest that the multimodal descriptions of storytelling performances can be a pathway to accessing these deeper meanings, these deeper themes that are present and shared through storytelling. These inferred deeper meanings that stories share about different conditions of human existence. In the case of affectual meanings, which are the ones that we have been looking at in this presentation and in this unit, we can build on our intuitive knowledge, that is the first level of experiential meanings, that is to say, this what, this who, this where things are happening, and show how some ideational and interpersonal meanings are foregrounded in the stories by means of patterns of wordings, sounds, facial configurations. By this analysis, we can build on our intuitions as speakers of a language to, as members of a culture, as participants of stories, to unbury other meanings that can be considered accessed knowledge. That is, the knowledge that needs to be made explicit so that we can unlock the key meanings in terms of the design of living, the themes of the story, these deeper meanings about human conditions and the conditions of human existence, like, as I said before, as an example for Cinderella, why is it that external beauty is connected with internal kindness? Is this always the case? Not necessarily. Describing then and interpreting these wordings, the wordings and the combination of these wordings with body semiosis and vocal features are key then to unpacking these deeper meanings about the human, the condition of human existence. Now, to build on, and in this way, we can build on Hassan's, on Hassan's model to look at literature. And we can look at how the meanings, the wordings, the sounds, and the facial configurations, in our case, to start foregrounding whatever is consistent in the text. So it's not only once that Cinderella is presented as beautiful and kind, and that the stepsisters are presented as ugly and mean. This is a repeated consistent pattern in the story that is created by different resources. So by looking at this consistency, these patterns of oppositions and transformations in the story of Cinderella, for example, this opposition between Cinderella and the stepsisters, we will be able to have a look at and to take us, this will take us to what are these inferred deeper meanings that are foregrounded in this particular story. In the case of Cinderella, for example, the stereotypical association of external and internal beauty. Now, in this view, narratives and storytelling become vehicles not only for the transmission of cultural values and ideologies, but also a tool for transformation. When we explore these stories, we tend to do this through our lenses, what Hassan calls our designs of living, our perspective that are prevalent in our specific community. But literary texts can make us see, can make us aware of different ways of being, saying, feeling, and doing. So they can introduce us to other worlds, other designs of living that are there, and other voices as well. This is a gift that literature offers us, and that we have to take advantage to create social change, to transform social values. So to conclude, I'd like to share this these last words. The enabling power of understanding multisemiotic, multimodal resources such as wordings, vocal and facial resources deployed in a specific context, as the storytelling performances of Cinderella, for example. It offers us interpretations of the text that not only reproduce the cultural values that are foregrounded in the story, but also, as we saw with this storyteller, can challenge them by showing that the stepsisters do not necessarily have to align with people laughing at Cinderella. This is the powerful insight that calls us to exploit stories as social spaces where alternative views of naturalized stereotypes can be motivated. We can create them, and we can discuss them with whoever it is that we're sharing our stories and our storytelling with. And we can discuss them as a basis for hope and a contributor to peaceful human relations. Thank you so very much for being here. This is the end of this third and last section of this first unit of the course. I hope that you've enjoyed it and you're looking forward to learning much more in the next units. These are the references that I used in this last section. Obrigado, gracias. Thank you so very much for sharing this experience with me. Don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions.